Hi, Ron here. Got a really good video today. Going to give you a lot of good insights on the Andrews techniques that you probably didn't know. Well, first, one of the things I did today was I took a test on the internet that had nothing to do with trading and yet impacts my trading greatly. And the test was designed to determine if I was right-brained or left-brained, and these are the actual results. And it says that I'm balanced. Well, the benefit of being just slightly right-brained means, or a lot very right-brained, means that you're more into geometry than you are into algebra, let's say. And for example, if you're right-brained, you, rather than have something explained to you in exquisite detail, you'd rather have somebody explain it and show you at the same time. You know, you might be from Missouri, as they say in America. And anyway, it told me that I'm balanced pretty much, left brain and right brain pretty close. And and so if you get a chance, take that test. And if you find that you're left-brained, that's cool. You'll find that spreadsheets are what you prefer over geometry sometimes. And I'm going to show you the benefits of using a balanced approach and exactly how that could be done. And first of all, I'd like to thank the course member that sent me this insightful information that we're going to do today. And that person said, "Hey, go for it. Put it up on the web. Just don't give it away to the public." We'll give you enough to help increase your understanding. First of all, when using Andrews, let's say for a moment there are two types of signals. One is an informational signal, and one is an action signal. So let's say here's an example of an informational signal or an action signal. Let's say that you're going to use a break prices not making the ML, that's informational, right? And prices breaking past an H line, let's say, as that's an action signal. I'm not suggesting that's the way it is. I'm just saying, giving an example. Okay, so you understand the difference between informational and action, right? Now sometimes you'll be looking for both together, right? So the information might be, you might call it a setup with a trigger. And so your setup might be prices not making the ML, and your action would be prices breaking beyond or prices closing beyond, which I guess happened up here, and then your stop might be underneath here, for example. Okay, so that's an example, not necessarily what I use, but it's an example. So one of the what happened was I was sent this list of things that were made up right out of my advanced course manual and videos. The person went through and made a list of 8 things, 5 of which are action signals, 3 of which are informational signals. So for example, I'll give you an example. One of the things that's an informational signal is prices not making the ML and not making it past the prior H line. Prices, just didn't do both. Okay, so let's see an example of that. That would be an informational signal. Here we go. Let's see if this works. Now we really like to see in the other way. This would be more accurate. Okay, I'm using the wrong median line. That's why. There we go. That's a little better. And you can see here that prices did not make it down past the ML, or weren't able to see, and also didn't make it past the far H. That would be using 2 things, an informational signal. Okay. And let's just for grins call that a not. Now you don't really actually use that in particular for trading. Because what you use instead is an action signal, something that tells you, hey, wow, this is time to go. But this here will tell you that this is effectively a negative breakout. As strange as this sounds, it's a negative breakout because prices were unable to break past here. See, in order for the trend to continue, prices would have to go past this H line here and go down. Not necessarily exactly in the median line parallel in the pitchfork, but it would have to break through this here for the downtrend to continue, and they didn't. Okay, so that's a negative breakout, and that's one of the things on my list of information signals. So 1, 4, and 8 are info. And 2, 3, 5, and 7 are action. Now, what makes these in action signals? Well, one of the things that makes these in action signals is they give you a defined entry, something to look for a defined entry, and a stop. So let me show you something we don't use that Andrews used to use. Was he would say, well, you know, if you believe that prices if you believe that prices made a low, then a low down here, then you would draw something called the mini median line parallels, and this is the mini median line, which is drawn from closes. So here's your high close and your low close, and here's your high close, and then you would simply, after prices break through here, this is your buy, okay, according to Andrews, okay, and this is your action, okay, so this is an action signal, and then prices closing back underneath here is your let's get the heck out. That's your risk, okay, and as we all know, if prices break way down, then that's not so good. And it can and prices could go to, you know, to the hinterlands way down to and that's the risk. And so if you want to risk less, then theoretically you buy options. And remember, the problem with options is there's usually there's usually some costs inside there, and one of them is what the other guy is selling you, and that includes volatility and time, and so he's charging a whole bunch of money for time, and he's cashing in every day as prices just don't go anywhere. Okay, if somebody buys here with an option, right? But if for some reason it happens to be, everything happens to be perfect and the person stays in, and maybe when prices get up here they make a bundle, I don't know, we'll see. So anyway, but with an option, the benefit, if there is one, is that your risk is absolutely solidly defined as the amount you purchased for the option. Just like with stocks, the amount is absolutely solidly defined the amount you paid for the stock, only that's usually a heck of a lot more. So anyway, here we go. So let's look at this. So we have action signals and we have info signals, right? Okay, so now we've defined what an info signal might be like, and here's what's fascinating. If we go through here, we can see that, okay, if 1, 4, and 8 are info signal, here's an info, here's an info, here's an info. So right here you have 3 action signals, actually 4 in this area up here. You have 4 action signals. Okay, and here you have 1 action signal and 1 info signal. And here you have 1 action signal. And here you have an action signal. And down here you have an info. And down here you have a 1 and a 4. And these are just info. Okay. And here you have a 1, 3, 5. And that's 1 info and 2 action. Okay, and here you have a 7. That's definitely 7s are definitely action. 7, and here one of them is an info. No, 2 of them info. So you have 3 action. So let's just for grins, I'm doing this on the fly here. Anything that's a here's how we'll do it. We'll say how many action signals are there in this area here, and we'll say 1. Say 1, 2, 3, 4. No, yeah, let me see. 1, 2, 3. 1. Brain's not working today. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4. So let's say we have, okay, and down here we have one action signal. Okay, and here we have an action signal with an information signal, and here we simply have an action signal, and here we have an action signal, and here we have an action signal. Here we have an information signal. Here's a 1 and a 4, and that's all information. And here we have a 3, 5, and that's 2 actions. And here we have a 7, so that's 1 action. Then we have a 4, 3, 1, 2, so we have a 2, 3. Okay, so by the time we get to over here, we've got a total of 3 actions. Okay, and over here, what do we have? We have a 2, 3. We have an 8 and a 3, and an 8 and a 3 is 1 action. And then as you look over here, you have 2, 4, 5, which is 1, 2, 2 more. And then you go over here and you got 3, 1, 4. 3, 1, 4. 1, 4 is just information, and a 3 is action. Okay. 5, 3, 6, 4. Okay. So let's take a look at this. 5, 3, 6. This is 3, 5. That's action. And 6 is action. So we have. Okay. And here we have 7, 2, 4, 5. Okay. 7, 2. That's 3 actions up here. And then 6 and 1 is another one. Okay. So here we have 3 or 4. Oh God. So this is a total of, to go down you have a total of 4 A's. Oh. Anyway, and then over here you have an information. Okay, so now let's look at this and let's take a look if this is any way useful. Okay, let's say when you have 3 or more A's, okay, you're very picky. When you have 3 or more A's, you enter, and when you have 1 or more A's, you, the opposite direction, you exit. Okay, that's simple enough. Okay, so you would have gone short here, exit here. You would have gone short here, okay, and here, okay, and reverse here, okay, and you'd exit up here. Oh, okay, and then you go long here, all right, and then you go short here. Oh, okay, well, I very much thank the person that sent this in to me. Now, this is this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to send out exactly what that is on a list to the Andrews guys. I can tell you that NN, for example, is number 4. I mean, that's an information one. EP is number 8. Okay, that's easy. Okay. So you notice you really didn't use number 8 to trade with, but it was good information to have. Okay. Okay. And if you missed it, well, then you missed it. So what? Because the action ones are important. Okay. And let's see, there was the other information one. Number 1. What is that? Oh, number 1. That's Rule 9, which is also an AWI after the fact, and that's over here. Okay, over here. Now something that somebody might want to play with, and that's simply the idea that if you have 2 informations equal 1 action. Let's see how that works. Okay, so if you have 2 information, a 1, 4, or 8, here you have a 1 and a 4. That equals another A. Here's another one. Ooh. So this gives you a couple more A's up here. Ooh. Okay. Okay. I need a 1, 4, 8 in pairs. Here we go. Here's a 1, 4. That gives me another A over here. Oh, and here's an 8. So maybe I got 2 A's. Ooh. Uh-huh. Okay. So the benefit of doing this way, this as as elaborate as it sounds, it's really not bad. What it does is it engages your left brain and your right brain. And here's why. The right brain is engaged when you do the geometry and when you look for certain relationships with things and patterns and stuff like that. The left brain is engaged when you calculate, well, how many 1s and 4s and 8s do I have, and you draw the lines and stuff to validate what you have. That incorporates your left brain. Okay? And that is what is so really, really neat. So you get to do some balanced brain trading. The benefit of balanced brain trading is the probability of making emotional trades is incredibly diminished. Absolutely incredibly. So if you're right-brained oriented and you love geometry, really easy stuff, okay, that's good. Then you add to that some left brain activities where you do the exact measurements and you determine how many of these you have, whether or not you have 3 or more A's in any at any particular point, right? And if you're left brain oriented, which means you love this, let's see how many we have and let's see if this is correct and the spreadsheet, the people who love spreadsheets. But you get to then do some geometry where you use the other side of your brain. Okay? So this is a way of using both sides of your brain. And those of us that already use both sides of our brain almost equally get to work in unison. Something different. Okay, so I thank you for your time. This is Ron Janisch, and I'm with an organization, this is the website where I saw the wherecreativitygoes-to-school.com, where I took the test, okay? And so these Art Institute of Vancouver, having absolutely nothing to do with trading. And here's where I go, where I tell people to go when I suggest what trading course to take. I just tell them to come over to andrewscourse.com, and one of the things you can do is you can enter your email address here and you can join. It's free, and you can order the course. Just press on products and it tells you all about it. We've revised this page a little bit because this makes it a lot clearer and specific as to what you get. And like for example, our PT3 software is a gift to you. What is PT3? Let me show you. PrecisionTrader.com. You see me up there? This cost me $20. Have this picture taken with a live Siberian tiger when I was in Manila. I am not a tiger trainer. And notice my fingers are like almost on the tiger. Almost. Like just close enough to make it look like my fingers are on the tiger. Anyway, there was a guy I met in the hotel, a German guy, and he got in this cage, and he was so scared in this picture, and he wouldn't put his hand anywhere near the tiger. I was a little bit more daring. So if you're in Manila, 2 blocks from the American Embassy, there's a place where you can have your picture taken with a live Siberian tiger, and there's the relative of this Siberian in the back here hanging out. Okay, not expensive. It's kind of fun. And just make sure the cat just had lunch and is chewing on something while you're there, and it's not you. Anyway, thank you for your time, and see you next time.